All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? What is up, y'all? Let me just go ahead and lower this a little bit. Sorry about that. Hey, so today, welcome. Today I want to talk to you about something that's I think pretty important, okay? Today we're going to talk about something that we had a conversation we had a couple days ago. I think it was Tuesday, I believe. We talked about the history of Twitter, right? Last we checked, we talked about the history of Twitter and the important details of how it became to be in regards to the experience of Mr. Jack Dorsey had had endured. Okay, we'll just say experience, and how that is also a part of the bigger picture of what freedom of speech, right? The man believed in freedom of speech so much he had endured a lot of roasting for many years. Okay, many years. You could look that up and check that out. Full disclosure, it doesn't paint me in a great light, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm different now. Times change. You'll notice that that's gonna be a theme. You'll notice as a theme, okay, in tonight's little episode. Just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure the levels are good. Are we good on the levels? I think we're okay on the levels, right? Not too ridiculous, are we? I think we're okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put the music down. Let me just stop the music. All right. I'm gonna just say this, okay? A lot of ahistorical viewpoints from today's subject that we're going to be talking about. Okay, the person who is the man of the hour is he's not really educated in maybe not educated is the right word, but I think he suffers from what I would call inheritance bias, which means inheritance bias is a term I came up with. It's where you benefited from something, right? But you didn't earn the thing. You never experienced the hardship that came with it, right? That came for it. That what was suffered and sacrificed for it, right? What was building up to something that you have in your hand or whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, could be an intangible thing, which is what we'll be talking about, freedom of speech. And you're going to be, having an opinion that's a privileged opinion, okay? I'm going to just say that. There's people out here who will have a lot of privileged opinions. If you never came from a place where freedom of speech, if you never grew up in the environment, where where freedom, right, is something that's scarce, and you also grew up in an environment where people appreciate it, it won't really connect, it won't really click. You'll have this a very mythical view of what freedom of speech really is, which is what this gentleman is suffering from. If you don't have anything earned, right? If you didn't suffer for something, you're gonna value something a lot less, right? It's just natural. So I empathize with that, or maybe sympathize, depending on how you want to look at it. But I just want to get into it right now, and you'll see where we're going with this. It's kind of a journey, all right? Bear with me, okay? This gentleman, he replaced Jack Dorsey. All right, we'll start with that. When Jack Dorsey took a step down, this guy was promoted to CEO of Twitter, okay? He went from the CTO to CEO, okay? He started out as a software engineer. Now, remember, I talked to you guys last time, and I said, Jack is a portal problem, okay? Where he goes, gates of issues come follow, okay? So you have to understand, this guy opens up doors for other people to come in and, and interact with the environment and flourish. Unfortunately, if you have the wrong people in there who don't share the same values, right? Again, we go back to values and mindset. if they don't have the same values or a good mindset, it's going to create a toxic environment, a very volatile environment. I'll even say that. A lot of gamma energy, a lot of gamma rays out here. So here we go. Just wanted to give you that, just that premise, okay? So let's start with this first, okay? I want to give you a quick minor retraction from the last video. Minor retraction. I had the case system that I briefly mentioned last time when I said Jack had an oopsie and he held the sign. When he held the sign, poo-pooing the upper class, in the uppercase system, in the uppercase class, it was actually the other way around. I said the untouchables when I really meant to say was the Brahmins. Okay, the Brahmins are the priests and the academics. In India, they have a caste system. It's based on the religion and their values, right? The people who are on top tend to be the priests, the academics, their descendants, and then you have I cannot even pronounce that, and I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna butcher it. I mean, I could try, but is that even a silent K? Nobody knows. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna just let you know. I did not look that part up, so I'm not gonna do that. But all the way down, you have the untouchables, right? And I think people who are not even people who are out of case are in there. Okay, so the untouchables, people who are the bottom of the bottom, right? So I had it flipped, so I just want to apologize for that right there, because that is an honest mistake, and I own up to it. Again, I'm a man. If I make a mistake, I own up to it. Okay, this entire video, it ain't no mistake. I'll tell you right now, because we gotta call some people to the carpet. Okay, so meet our new CEO. I just wanted to put that out there. Just have him be. Just want y'all to see. His name is Pagaro. I think it's Pagaro. I forgot his last name. I'm sorry, guys. I had it and then I lost it. It is what it is. I'll try harder next time. I promise. My bad, dude. He's not watching this, but let's say he is. My bad. If I'm gonna roast you, at least let me learn your name, right? Look. So this is what he had to say. Okay, again, we don't judge the people by what they look like, where they're from, whatever. I don't care. Okay, I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care what it is. I don't care. You could be a purple elephant. I don't care. But I care about what you say, and I care about your actions. Okay, that's what's important to me. Here we go. And this is his actions. It's Agrawal. Okay, Agrawal. I thought it was Agrawal. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. So Agrawal. I think it's Agrawal. I think it's a V, even though it's a W. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. I'm going to call him Agra. Mr. Agra said, when asked about, freedom of speech and everything, in an interview with Gideon Litchfield from, I think it was MIT Tech, technologyreview.com, in a Zoom call, basically, he said, our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, but our role is to serve a healthy public conversation. Okay, and our moves are reflective of things that we believe lead to a healthier public conversation. The kinds of things that we do is focus less on thinking. I just want you to pay attention to that. Focus less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how times have changed. That part is the most important part in there. About how times have changed. Whew. You guys, let me just say something. Even though he didn't write it down himself, it was being transcribed. Don't ever say things like this. Don't ever say things like this. Guys like me will tear this apart. And you'll see how. I'm going to tear this. I'm going to put my teeth into this, boys. It's not good. R.I.P. Look, he said times have changed. We will prove that is not the case, okay? One of the changes today that we see is speech is easy on the internet. Most people can speak. Where our role is particularly emphasized is who can be heard. Put a pin on that one. The scarce commodity today is attention. There is a lot of content out there. A lot of tweets out there. Not all of it gets attention. some subset of it gets attention. And so increasingly our role is moving towards how we recommend content. And that sort of is a struggle that we're working through in terms of how we make sure these recommendation systems that we're building, how we direct people's attention, is leading to a healthy public conversation that is most participatory. Whew, that is a lot, y'all. So what he's really saying is, because your tweet ends up in the recommended section, just like on YouTube, he wants to make sure that your actual tweet that is in there is pre-approved and it's not like some stuff that maybe they don't agree with, and it doesn't create a healthy public conversation. Okay? So this is the source. If you guys were wondering, this is the source. It was an interview from Gideon Litchfield. That's why I put the highlight there, because I wanted to make sure I remembered that. Parag. Okay, I'm gonna call him Parag. I don't know why I forgot his name. I wanted to call him Pagra, but that's not true. Parag. We'll call him Parag. Twitter's chief. He was, like I said, he was a chief technical officer. This guy, I don't know, man. Whew. Anyways, that's the source. So, in the middle of the conversation of me reading that, right, it's like that gut feeling. You know, I have a gut feeling. Y'all know I have a gut feeling. One thing I'm good at is pinpointing some foolishness and also some untrusting. There's more when I can pick out extra. I can read between the lines, and when there's little extra nuggets, I do something about it. I can pinpoint it, you know, and I can break it apart. Like, I can see it, and I just know something's wrong with it, and then I just pull the strings from it, and then something always comes out, man. It's like a plumber. When the plumber is plunging, he knows something's in there. He just keeps going. And then he takes that one last yank, and then everything comes up. Nasty. Anyways, that's how I feel. Like, I'm just plunging away in this in this toilet. I'm like, all right, I think I'm gonna find it. Anyways, someone's gonna gift that emotion. Someone's gonna make that into something dirty. Anyways, here we go. So, let's break this down a little bit. Some more, okay? He says everybody can speak. Okay. He doesn't realize, or maybe he does realize that, like, the 1% of the world can use the internet. Most people in the world can't use the internet. They don't have access to it. Like 1%, the 1%, which is in America, they have access to it, and then the 10% under them has access to it. And then, like, you go even further. I think they said the 30% or 40% of the world can use it, but the 60% can't. Lower class people in the world, they just don't have access to it, and that's a lot of people. That's like a majority of the people. It's like the majority still. Like, as we go further into the future, you would hope that would change, but I think honestly it's going to go backwards. I think less people are going to be on the internet in the next, or rather more people are going to try to kind of wean themselves, because it's becoming an addiction for people. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. We can talk about that in another day. But right now, I want to break this down, okay? He said something that was a big, big deal. Let's focus on thinking about free speech and thinking about how times have changed. Now, I said before, okay, if you are benefiting, right? If you are benefiting from today, what does that mean? It means yesterday somebody put the work in, right? Someone put the work in to make today what today is. You are using the computer because someone back in the day made a computer. They put the pieces together. Lots of apps were made. Lots of people made these apps. It's not overnight, The camera I'm using, someone made that, at some point. The mic I'm using, someone made that at some point, right? The hard work was done. All I did was put it together. So, people, when they're making this conversation of, like, times have changed, but not really. Like, the yesterday affects today. You can't just discard yesterday like it's nothing. You really can't. Because wait until you see how times have not changed. In general, times have not changed. Yeah, some things have changed. City life has changed. How people have conversations has changed. The media addiction, that's changed. That's increased. It's gotten worse. But one thing that hasn't changed, that you'll see. Let's just put it this way: around the world. All right. So here we go. Oh, and by the way, the public healthy conversation. Nice touch. Nice scapegoat. Okay. We want to have healthy conversation, healthy public conversation. What your conversation is not healthy. It's so perfect for vagueness. It's rife with corruption. Love it. So, something wasn't sitting right with me. So I looked up where this guy was born, and I said, all right, Ajmer, India. I sat there and I thought for a second, don't they have a caste system still? Isn't that current day? You know, it was just one of those things. I was like, isn't that current day? And you'll see why I said that in just a moment. But first, another thing that bothered me, and I wanted to address that right now. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. A little frog in my throat. Look, if you don't like freedom of speech, right? Okay, you don't like freedom of speech. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you don't like free speech. Let's just say you don't. Okay. I can understand. I don't agree. I don't, I don't see why. I don't see the point. I understand that you are. That I don't understand why. The why makes no sense to me. But I understand that you are, right? Cool. You're against freedom of speech. All right. So if you're against freedom of speech, follow me here. Then why are you here? You know what I mean? Drink some water. Went down the wrong hole today. Why are you here? If you don't like freedom of speech, why are you here? Why did you come here? Of all the countries you can go to, there's hundreds of countries, literally. You can go all around the world. Why America? Think about it. Oh, we're looking for healthy public conversations. That's what we want to do. That's the focus that we want to have, blah, blah, blah. Why are you here? You can go anywhere else in the world and have healthy public conversations. Anywhere, pretty much. Not everywhere, but anywhere else. What does here have that India don't? What do we have that India doesn't have? What made you leave? You know what I mean? Think about that stuff. What? And you're an adult. Even let's say you left as a child, you don't have a choice. You left as a child. Your parents moved here. Cool. Let's just say that. I don't know if it did. I couldn't find that information. But let's say that happened. So you're an adult now. You can go back. You can telework from there. You can do Zoom. You can do coding. I know a lot of developers. Not a lot, but I know some developers who they work from home. Some of them work in another country. They don't have to do anything with the country that their employer is at. No, they just get paid. In their dollars. That's it. So, why are you here, and what's here that India doesn't have that made you come here? Think about that. Just think about that. Okay, I want you to think on that. That's right there. That's the puzzle. If freedom of speech doesn't matter and everyone can speak and nobody, why are you here? Go somewhere else. Go back home. And I don't mean that as an insult. I don't mean that as a derogatory term. I don't mean that any of that. That's not the point. My point is legitimately, you could go home. You could work at home, literally. Or you can go back to Ajmer and, everybody can speak, so you don't have a problem, right? There's no problem, right? Think about that. Just think about that. I don't think that's the case. Something tells me that whole thing was BS. That's just my take. That's my hunch. That's my gut, okay? Because, again, all I do is just unravel the argument, okay? The argument is, you said free speech doesn't matter. It's behind. It's the past. Oh, it's the past. You ever notice it sounds like one of those kids who says, it happened a long time ago. We're moving forward. Blah. Only kids say that. It's such a childish thing to say. I'll give you a great example of a child saying that. Go watch Boy Meets World. There is little clips of Boy Meets World. If you in case you haven't noticed, if you don't know, give me 1 second. Dang, I really shouldn't have drank that water. It's like sitting right here. Look. It's a show called Boy Meets World, if you're not familiar. It's a show about a kid who's growing up. And one of the things he says in early episodes as a kid, he's like, Dad, this happened a long time ago. It's no big deal, whatever. I think it was about the 70s or 60s riots, which definitely did not hold up well. That comment did not age well. He was like, that happened a long time ago, Dad. No big deal. The show was set in the 90s. So he's like, oh, it's no big deal, Dad. Da, 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 da. And the dad sat him down and he said, listen, son, you don't know what you're talking about. This happens every day, okay? Something always happens. Just you wait. That dad, whoo, boy. Mr. Matthews, I'll never forget. He definitely, I should play that clip. I wish I had it. I gotta find. I don't know if I can get. I think I'll get taken down for that. I don't know. It's kind of weird times we live in. But my point of that story is the old man was like, just wait a while and it'll pop back up, and it did. That's my point. This guy complaining, kind of talking about how freedom of speech is irrelevant, kind of basically like it's in the past. We don't have to worry about that. We're secure. No one has to worry about their speech being silenced or whatever, which is nonsense because we all know about shadow banning. Even though he said all that, him saying that was like me complaining, right, about eating pizza in a pizzeria. It really was. Like if I sat here and I was like, yo, why am I eating? Look at these pizzas. Look at this. Why don't you have burgers? Like, what's wrong with you? You're in a pizzeria. You're in America. Of course people are going to be complaining about the freedom of speech. They expect freedom of speech. They're living here. You're an American company. You should be fulfilling that, okay? You want to be doing whatever you want as a Twitter company? Go to China. I mean that in a serious. I really mean that. I don't mean that in a coy, to be funny, to be cute. I mean, if you really believe it's in the past, it's not a big deal, go to China. Go to any nation that is about accepting people with their tech. Like, oh yeah, a big tech company like you, come on down. You wanna really test that? Go to Sri Lanka. Go to the Singapore. Let's see how long it lasts. Let's see how long you can just be doing that with that mindset. Let's see how long you can put all the content you put that people find volatile. Let's see you can get away with that. Let's see you can get away with suspending their president. I promise you, your office will not be here tomorrow. Wait, hold up. You gotta see this next clip. What's India's free speech like anyway, by the way? Here. Yo, you living in a fantasy land, bro. Okay, Parag? I'm sorry. You living in a fantasy world, okay? People expect their countries, big companies that they are putting their time into to have a conversation, using that platform, making you money by, giving you traffic and ad revenue. People expect that their basic rights are going to be respected. The freedom of speech, the freedom to, have a conversation with whomever, right? People have a right to do that. People also have a right to ignore the comment, to mute it, to mute the person. That's a personal thing. That's what those tools exist for. The healthy conversation's already here, bro. Like, hello. It's simple. You hit the mute button if you don't like the person, or you don't like what they say. You hit the block button if you really don't like the person, or you really don't want to hear what they have to say. Like, if it's super irrelevant, they can just hit that mute button, or they can close the computer, close the phone, and have a good day for a little while. I never stress with this stuff. I've been on Twitter forever, and I've never been like, oh my God. I'm like, mute, 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 mute. Block, block, block. I don't care. I don't hold stake in people like that. And anybody who's like, oh, but they took a W when they made you do. Listen, they're a loser. They already told you they're a loser. Okay? Don't worry about people like that. That's irrelevant. Those people have very small lives. They don't really think, they don't think big. Think big people. They live big lives. People think big, they live big lives. People think small, they live small lives. So, anyways, that's my point of that. Okay? In one exchange, I want to point this again. He said how times have changed. That part to me, it bothers me so much. Especially when you already know freedom of speech for many of us, the whole reason why he could even talk, the whole reason why he even has a job as in the company, forget about being a CEO, forget about being a developer, forget about any of that. The fact that he's even, in it, having a job in the first place is because someone who had freedom of speech, who had all these rights, who was privileged enough not to get shut down, right, stood up for people like us and said, hey, actually, no, give everybody freedom of speech, give everybody their own freedom of life and liberty in the pursuit of happiness. They have a right to go and start a business, or to go to school if they want to, or to go eat here or hang out with these people, because that wasn't there before. Okay, you have to remember the First Amendment, all these amendments, we weren't privy to that. People like me were not privy to that. All right, and that's a fact. All right, and the fact that this guy is like, times have changed, he's not living in reality. Okay, this kind of thing, again, can always be taken away. I don't care what anyone says. This stuff can always be taken away if the wrong person gets into power. Okay, if the wrong person ever gets into power, and that some argue he already has. Some argue that's the whole other conversation we can have. But for now, what I'm trying to say is, if you had a particular type of person like Mr. G of the the Tiger Mafia, okay, all the way over in Tiger Cage, okay, all down to Tiger Cage. You know what I'm talking about? Them boys will tell you, they will let you know you ain't got no freedom, and that's why they don't open nowhere else. They're opening here. Twitter and all these companies, don't make no mistake, they open here for a reason. Not here, my literal here. That's creepy, bro. I meant here. You know what I mean? Like in the country, in America. The reason why they open here is because they know they're gonna be safe here. It's a safe haven. Okay. Then the First Amendment rights, all these rights, it creates a safe haven. Those other countries, not a safe haven. That's why these kingpins, man, you can't trust them. Okay, they're fake. Okay, you can't trust the kingpin, bro. They're snakes in the grass. All right, and all these mega corporations, they're all the same type of scum. Okay, they pretend everything. They create a narrative that doesn't exist. It's not real. Then they tell you that it's real, and then they tell you that everything's moving on and forward, and this is how we're gonna move forward. They have to create a fake past first to create the future that they want. Which already tells you that's a shaky house of cards, bro. That house of cards is about to fall apart, okay? Make no mistake, all right? So, this guy says times have changed. But the last time I checked, which was today, the caste system still exists, okay? It still exists. Don't tell me it's some sort of... don't tell me, bro, it's not some sort of whatchamacallit. That's BS. You're not living in reality. Oh, it's different now. Everything's different now. No, it's not. It's not different now. You're not living in reality. Wake up, okay? This was my favorite. This article is my favorite. They're like, it still remains entrenched. The caste system is full in effect. He left for a good reason, okay? If his parents left when he was young, those were smart people. I'm gonna just say that right now. This quote got me good. They said the evil of India's caste practice is almost as old as the gods. The gods. And is the most noxious and evolved example today of how humans attempt to impose superiority and suffering on others by virtue of their birth. So powerful. That's powerful. Hindu texts speak of 4 tiers or varnas, making a broader caste pyramid in society. I don't know why caste pyramid got me. I'm sorry, y'all. That took me out. I was like, pyramid? Like Egypt? I'm sorry. On top are the Brahmins or priestly caste. The Kshatriyas. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Indians, if you're watching. Or warrior class, and the Vaisyas or merchant class. At the bottom come the Shudras. Shudra sounds like Shudrugs. I'm sorry, guys. The Shudras, or laboring caste. The rest do not even count. Out case. So, again, like I was saying before, okay, this is an example. I'm just saying, it's just an example of how people forget the past. They're rewriting history in their mind, and they're trying to rewrite history to you. I don't buy into that. It's another form of, what is that called? It's another form of gaslighting. You know, you're trying to like create this thing. No, that's not what's happening. This is what's happening. It's like, no. You're a POS is what's happening. Okay? Make no mistake. So anyways, that's all I got to say today. I know it's a really long one today. I kind of went in there, didn't I? I could have made that a live stream, but nah, it's all good. I wanted to kind of get in depth and everything, and wanted to kind of break it down. It was kind of a more cerebral video, because these kind of guys, you know, they're brainiacs, but they're not smart when it comes to arguments. They're not smart about like breaking down their logic into the real world, because they're still on the computer screen. They're still kind of like navigating the real world in their own way. You know, they're just not living in reality, sadly. And you know, it is what it is. You can't fault too much to these guys, because their whole lives is like this box. You know, they're all about that box, and not the box we're talking about before. Different kind of box. They're working, they're deving, they're doing their thing, you know, they're doing all that. But it doesn't apply to the real world, some of the ideas they have as a result. It's all theory. You know, when something is theory, you pay for it, because the application will not fulfill itself. It won't be successful. You're gonna have a failed attempt at reality, and you're gonna hit face first, and it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna be embarrassing, and you won't forget it. You definitely won't. Trust me, you won't forget. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about freedom of speech and its application to social media? Do you think it belongs in there? Do you think it doesn't? Do you think I'm just, overreacting to this whole thing? Or do you think maybe there's something to it? Do you think it's over for Twitter? What are your thoughts? You let me know in the comments below. I appreciate your time. As always, let me go ahead and put the thing here. As always, there's some content right here. Contacts information here. If you want to follow or get on the email list, where I put stories in. I'm gonna be putting some more exclusive stories, probably later in the winter, like probably before the book gets released. So February, it's looking like, possibly. Don't quote me on that. I have another video coming up tomorrow, quote unquote tomorrow morning. It's already morning, but I have another video going later in the day tomorrow, quote unquote tomorrow, for Thursday. We'll see if I can get another one up. I'm trying to see if I can throw another one in there. But anyways, thanks again. Appreciate your time. Have a good day, and see you later. Bye-bye.